friends, welcome to Joyfido International. My name is Joyfido and welcome on board. Now today we're going to be talking about something very dear to me, very personal to me. What is this topic? Top 10 reasons why Nigeria is poor. Top 10 reasons why Nigeria is poor. Why am I so interested in this? Because it's about my future, it's about my children's future, it's about Africa's future. And it came to me very surprisingly on a trip to Morocco. I just came back from a trip to Morocco. And we were somewhere. Interestingly, everywhere you go in Morocco, they just want to know where you're really from. So they go, where are you originally from? Because they don't know where you really are from at the time you're there, but where are you originally from? And I told someone I'm from Nigeria. So, oh, that's the civilization of Africa. I'm like, huh? Excuse me? Oh yeah, Nigeria is supposed to be the civilization of Africa. Nigeria has over 200 million people in it. Because everywhere I go, people ask, how many, what's your population like? You don't want to know the landmass, you don't want to know the natural resources of that country, you don't want to know how blessed Nigeria is. But this country has been subjected to poverty. And what type of poverty is this? Man-made poverty. Because this is not God-made poverty. This is man-made poverty. So, Joyfido International, my philosophy or my focus or my take on life, or I believe it's this is my mission in life, is to share knowledge that will empower you. I want to share knowledge that will empower you, and this is why I'm making it my business to do all this research. In the case of what this topic is I didn't need to do any much research because I live it, I know it. It's happening every day in Nigeria. So, but I'm talking about Joyfido International. This is the angle we're going to be coming from, is to share knowledge that will empower you. I've bought all types of books that I can read and share knowledge with you. Books do have knowledge that will empower you. And you know, like in the Bible, it clearly says to you, Proverbs 4:6, I think it is of everything in life, the first thing you need to do is to gain knowledge. And we all know it. We say knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Because when you know something, you do know that thing. And when you know something, no one can mess around with you. Because you can talk about it. You can act it. You can live it. And Hosea 4:7 says, my people are suffering. My people have suffered. They continue to suffer for the same thing, lack of knowledge. So if you did not take knowledge in Proverbs and then you start having problems, it's because of lack of knowledge. So that's why I'm making it my business, to give you knowledge that will empower you. So that's what Joyfido International stands for. And that's what's going to be happening. We're going to be bringing you so much knowledge that you will walk around proud and tall because you have knowledge that empowers you. Okay, so in this video we're looking at 10 reasons why Nigeria has been artificially made poor. And when we're looking at the poverty of Nigeria, it's not about these people who are out there flashing their wealth. Because someone sent me an interesting video on the looters of Nigeria, and I'm telling you, one person alone can embezzle 126 billion. One human being. Not to talk about the billions of dollars or the billions of pounds sterling or euros. The millions they invest in houses in foreign lands. That's what I'm saying. It's artificially created poverty. And then the same countries that they all rush to go and relax and have holidays and buy these crazy homes were put together by human beings. So do you see why it is artificially made? God did not make Nigeria poor. God actually made Nigeria a very, very rich country. And the same thing with Africa. Africa is extremely rich. So if you're walking around anywhere, your African background or African roots, wherever you're based, America, wherever, Caribbean, you have African roots in you. Somebody makes you feel that you're poor, tell them nicely, I said you are not poor. Whatever poverty that has been imposed on you has been artificially made. And these are some of the things that I'm going to be exposing on this channel, Church with the International. So I'm going to count to you 10 top reasons why I know that Nigeria has been artificially made poor. Number one is the politicians. Now the politics of Nigeria, you want to go into the history of Nigerian politics. Right now in Nigeria, it is so sad that the history is being gradually eroded. I went to Nigeria, and because I love reading and I love, acquiring knowledge, I'm going around everywhere. Even the biggest bookshop in Lagos, and I'm looking for Nigeria's history. There was nothing. And one of the men in the market said to me, well, we've been told to stop selling history books. Why? Because they claim that the history of the country is what's causing the problems in the country. So now you want to erode the history of a people. But that's what the politicians are doing. And you know what's really annoying? These are just people of the same age as you, or maybe if they're any older. There's not much to them. They're just human beings like you and I. They got same blood flowing through their veins. They were not put there by some freak of nature. But they force themselves into those positions. And then bring in their selfishness and greediness and, what type of human beings are these? Because right now, in my state where I come from, River State, people are being killed steadily. Every day, not to talk about when my brother-in-law was gunned down. This is now happening like every day in every village in my community. And there is a government. And apparently this government armed these boys, young boys. Now that has become their job, to just go around shooting people. What type of government is that? So these politicians are the reason why that country has been crippled. It's been crippled because of their selfishness and their wickedness and their refusal to have any vision at all. They're so blinded. They're blinded to themselves because now they are not thinking about their future generations. They may think that they've saved so much money now, have bought houses all over the world. But you see, anywhere that is outside your country, that house does not belong to you, whether you like it or not. Sad news. If you like, go to America, invest $50 billion, $1 trillion. Go to Dubai, invest billions and billions. Go to Qatar, go to wherever, and you tell yourself you have it. The minute you pass on, your children cannot even have access to those things. And even when they do, they cannot uproot their property and take to their country or to Nigeria. And then if you try to sell it, you will go through the legal system of that country, which are not easy. So if these people had any sense, they would not take this money and send out of the country and siphon it out of. They would not be doing that. These politicians are the reason Nigeria has been crippled. And this history stems way, way back. Why? Why can we not grow that country the way God wants us to grow it? It's got so much natural infrastructure, natural resources. Oil, limestone, gems and stones, and you name it. I just came from Morocco. They don't have oil, but this country is looking amazing. They're showing what they're showing, and tourism is booming. Is because they have culture, they have history. People are looking at the museums. But Nigeria, there's nothing. Every time I go to Nigeria and I go around and I want to be proud of some things and I want to take picture. No, don't take picture of anything. Don't take picture. Why? I just came from Morocco now with books on this country, with pictures. My camera was full with pictures. You're allowed to take as much pictures as possible. And you know why? Because you're going to help and spread their message to the world where you came from. And when you're talking to people and you show images, people get the message. Because we don't get message verbally. Oh yeah, and I went to Marrakesh and I saw this place and I saw that place and yeah. It's like, yeah, I don't get it. And so look at the picture. This is here and this is there. Oh, this is beautiful. I want to go there. So that's what it means to you people who don't understand that. Allow people to help spread your message. This is why here in Europe, on the mobile phone, you are allowed to take, there's free Wi-Fi across Europe. Why is that? Because they want you to spread the message from one country to the other, so people will visit. So again, for me, in my tourism industry, this is one of the things I want to spread across African countries to wake up. So politicians, you need to know what is happening with the world. You don't even know what's happening with the world. All you know is I want to steal money and I want to buy a house and I want to buy a car, and that's it. But the day you die, it's still 6 foot under you will go. You are not going to go with that house or that car. But if you bothered to leave legacy behind, to build amazing infrastructure in that country and encourage the youths to become useful, your name will be remembered for a long time. That's how people live for a long time. That's why a name like Jesus Christ can never be forgotten, because when Jesus lived, he lived for good. And so we all look forward to it and we pray and we say thank you Jesus and all of that, because now he will live forever, because we talk about it all the time. But if your name, all they ever remember you for was all the wickedness you did and all the stealing and all the siphoning and all the crime and all the killing, you die every day. You die forever. So anyway, number one on that list is the politicians. You are the wickedness that's destroying Nigeria. Number two on my list is, it connects obviously, because the politicians are stealing all the money out of the country. There's no money left to create anything for the country. So lack of infrastructure. Lack of infrastructure. Right from the airport, it is an embarrassment. From the airport in Nigeria, you do not even want to enter that country. From the minute you come out of the plane, the air conditioning you experience in the plane, and then you arriving at the landing hall or whatever you want to call that hall, that's it. You notice the difference. And I came out of a plane in Marrakesh, North Africa, and I got into the hall and I could not notice the difference. It felt even more welcoming than when I was in the plane. But in Nigeria, you would know that you're now out of a plane and you're landing on the ground. And suddenly everywhere is hot and there's no electricity and fan is coming from that way and there's no fan. And why would anyone come and visit such a place? Infrastructure is lacking because all the money, the same people who walk through that airport and get into the plane and go to other countries, and I'm sure they are traveling first class and traveling with private planes, including the so-called religious leaders. These same people come back to that same airport and do not feel a difference. They don't feel a pinch of it. They're not embarrassed. With all the billions in their bank account, what is it doing there? So infrastructure is killing that country. Because you need to put in place things that will help people think. If there's a decent airport, people will encourage tourism. If there's a decent road, people will travel easily. There will be nearness. I mean, this is even years ago when I was in secondary school. It was one of the reasons I loved agriculture, because I studied agri-science. And one of the things they said was subsistence living or subsistence farming was when you farmed and just fed your family. But of course, when there's enough infrastructure, for example, roads, so you could plant more with the intention that when your harvest comes out and it's really good, you're going to put it into transport and take it to the city. But if there are no roads to move things from the village to the city, you really have no use to plant more things that'll be more than what your family needs. So you see what's going on. In Nigeria, roads are a problem. People cannot travel from one state to the other. And so if we're even dreaming in tourism, how are these people going to be able to visit different states and different cities? And this is us in China, and I'm hopping from one train and going to another location and going to... We actually travel by train from mainland China to Hong Kong within 40 minutes. Bullet train. The same world we live in 2019. And Nigeria hasn't even got a basic transportation system. Airports, roads, seaports, you name it, all the means of transportation, we lack it. And don't get me started on electricity. Right there in the airport, the lights will just go off. But somebody's got billions of of naira and dollars in his bank account. What is the money doing in that bank account instead of putting it into use in the country? You get interest. You make money. There'll be profit in your business. This is what the Western world does. It's called PPP. Private public partnership. And so private hands join with the government and they create a team and they invest in major projects. Projects like airport, projects like roads, projects like, major buildings, shopping malls. And then in Lagos they started, I can't even remember what it's called. ShopRite or something like that. And this is like within 2 years of me visiting Nigeria, and I went to ShopRite again, it looked an absolute mess. Toilets all broken, no water in the system, people standing at the door to give you toilet roll. How much is toilet? Can we not manufacture toilet roll in Nigeria? Is it that hard? One of the easiest technology. So infrastructure is lacking. And I know that when it comes to education, I'm telling you, Nigerians are so educated. I was watching a video and somebody said, just New York State alone, the medical doctors in New York State, all coming from Africa, are more than all of them put together in Africa. That just gives you an idea. So, we all leave the continent to go to where the pastures is green. Yes, I don't blame anybody who does that, because we have politicians who really encourage that, because they don't want anything good for that continent. So they do not invest in infrastructure, they're not investing in anything. So they allow the country to rot. But I'm telling you, God in heaven is seeing all of this, and this has to stop. Your greed, your selfishness, your wickedness has to stop. You need to put back that money into that country for future generations. For future generations. So infrastructure is a problem. That's what's crippling in that country. Number three, local authorities. So now, well, politicians have done theirs and there's no infrastructure. And then people try. I know so many people who have left UK, gone to Nigeria and say, oh, I want to go set up my business. And the idea is that we know what to do. I want to go set up a business. But the minute you set up something, some local riffraffs calling themselves local authority chairman or whatever they call themselves, they now start on you. Seriously, I read so many articles. People have had to leave, abandon the whole idea. All the money they poured in, everything left to rot. Because they will not leave them alone. For putting up a sign, come and pay this. For buying a car, come and pay this. Everything they wish they could find earlier, suddenly they put it on you. Because you've come and said you want to set up a business. set up a business, what does that mean? You will end up employing local people. You allow the country to grow. You bring tax in eventually. But no, these local chairmen or local authorities or whatever, they see it as, for them, is an opportunity to enrich themselves. Because you know what has happened in my beloved country? They've kind of like created this understanding that right from the child of 2 years old to 100 or whatever age you might imagine, the mentality now is, let me just get rich. You get rich from doing what? Get rich from nothing. Anybody you see around is now your enemy because you need his money. And I just came back from an African country where people are working hard. Seriously, the tour guide who took us into the mountain, this young man was quite happy as I'm trying to sleep. He's holding my hand. Get up, go this way, go that way. Supporting. I'm telling you, this is this one, this is that one. Very happy to be there. Now tell a Nigerian young man to now come and be a tour guide and see what will happen. He'll probably steal all the people's things. He'll probably take them to some shrine and get them all murdered. And because he wants money quick, he will go and use them for a ritual, and then he will become rich. And then you hear in the news, a tour troop disappeared in the mountain. You know? You have to work to earn some money. You have to put in an effort for God to bless you. It's through your effort that something comes your way, not the other way around. So Nigerians' mentality need to start changing. So I can understand if, yes, politicians have messed up things and destroyed everything, but we don't have to join them to create a worse country for ourselves. Because a country does not make itself. It's the people that make up a country. That hit me like a light bulb. Why? Because all that infrastructure, natural resources is there. The same thing with UK. Is the people that make up UK. It's the people in US that make up US. It's the people in Marrakesh that make up Marrakesh. It's the people in China that make up China, or Hong Kong, or you name it. Turkey, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Dubai. It is the people in that country that make up that country. It is the people that use the natural resources of the place to create heaven for themselves. But no, we Nigerians, we don't see that. We want to run to where somebody has just finished making, and we go and splash all the money there. We don't know that we need to use that money to encourage ourselves to think. We're not thinking. So these local authority people need to leave people alone who actually have a head for business to do their business. They are strangulating the country and pulling it to poverty. So number 4 is who now? Who is number 4? The federal system is another one. Now we have system, organizations like the customs, we have immigration, we have police, you have prisons. These places do not do anything. I'm telling you, they don't do anything. They just bear the name. And I don't want to bore you with my experience of when I went to go and work on my Nigerian passport. It took days and days and days and days. And then at the end of it all, it wasn't a good experience. That's all I can say. And that's me, Nigerian. That's immigration. So imagine a visitor who's coming and saying, I want to visit this country. And then customs, you want to import things in the country or export things. That's another story. Everybody uses their position to become a problem. And what about the police? These are people who are supposed to be protecting the people. They can't even protect themselves. My experience right now with my sister and the predicament of our family, somebody's been murdered in cold blood and everybody can see the murder has happened, and all you have to do now is go and get these people who have caused this problem and take them through the legal system. And No, 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 no. Now, my family is now having to fund the police to investigate. What are you investigating? In decent communities, the system will take that case off the family and deal with it. No, it's the family that's dealing with their problem. So now it's like a double jeopardy. You lost your person and now you're losing all the money. So they have to pay the police to go out, and if they hear something and they think these boys are there, and then they will go, so you pay for them to they don't even have transport to travel. Is that not shocking? And you call yourself police? We might as well say there's no system, there's no police in place. So that is the situation we find in that country. It is a man-made poverty. It's not God-made. And so after number 4, number 5 again is, oh, don't even get me started on number 5. The international community, yes. The international community. There is a book I just got. It's called War on Want. And this man has explained you can call it the criminal activities of the Western world on Africa. Well, I know that obviously Nigeria, the gold, the diamond, the oil, you name it, all the things that are found in Africa. The man explained up to about five businesses in the UK London Stock Exchange get all their money from Africa, amounting to trillions of pounds sterling coming straight from Africa to them. International community, Western world. And so they go to these African countries and they cripple us. So after they cripple us, then they encourage our politicians to cripple us some more. And then they encourage the so-called religious leaders to cripple us some more, so the people just sit under the weight of all these enemies. So the enemies of Africa are too many enemies. Starting right from the international community. There's actually something I'm working on which you will be shocked. The same UK, US, everywhere you want to run to, thinking you're chasing paradise, you're actually chasing a doomed lifestyle. So if you have any sense and you are thinking and you're watching this and you live in Africa, you live in Nigeria, I want to go to UK to go, I want to run and go and stay in the UK, save yourself the trouble. Let's look for a way to fix our country. Seriously. They are not our friends. They will take everything we have in our country, and then when you come over to their country, they will not give you anything. And then as if that's not bad enough, they start to psychologically break you. Psychologically break you and spiritually destroy you. Where do you come from? Go back to where you come from. Nigger, black this, black that. You come from a tree. But these are the same people going to your country and your continent and siphoning all your natural resources and creating so much wealth for themselves and their people, and then you are now coming from a tree. Why can't they at least own up and say, yes, we've been stealing from you and we've been stealing, we will continue to steal from you for... Seriously, the amount of land space they have bought to use in creating all these things they are creating, all from Africa. And then you cannot even get to them and get a simple job, a little job, a small job of paying you £5 an hour or whatever. Then they sift you down as well. They sift through the system and they go, oh, okay, before we even think of a black person, let's fill up all the role first with all our people. But all that money came from your continent and from your country. So don't get me started on that. But that's one of the things crippling us. This is one of the things causing our poverty. God did not make us poor. I just want you to understand that. And if you're of any African background or black background, or you need to start waking up and realizing, what can I do to help my people? And I feel giving you the knowledge is a good one. Let's start with knowledge. Bible says knowledge is power. Let's start with knowledge, and we start using that knowledge to see how we can turn these things around. So the international community is destroying us, causing out the problem, bribing our politicians, and then they're going to other countries and they're grabbing all this wealth and nobody's taxing them. But imagine a small time businessman wants to set up some little thing. Mr. Local Government Chairman knows what to tell him. But Mr. International Community Man has come over and has grabbed all your oil and you don't even tax it. No tax. And when they are taxed, then they come up with some cap system and say they should only be taxed 2%. Who comes to another man's country and gives them rules and laws when you cannot come to their country and break any law? But that's our situation. So we need to wake up and look at all the options now and start thinking what we can do to change this around for our future generations. That's where my worry is. I know I've been through the system. I've struggled with it. I've suffered it. I've experienced it. And I've, by God's grace, stayed strong. But this thing has broken a lot of people. Lots of people have died for no reason. Bible says my people suffer for lack of knowledge. This is where it's coming from. Lack of knowledge is where our problem is. We need to wake up with knowledge now. So, migration. That's the next problem that's strangulating our people. So now, yes, a few heads who could think are now being forced to run away. And I don't blame anybody. Because if you live in a system where the system has locked you up and don't allow you to even wake up, how can you cope? I mean, the instance of my brother-in-law, I still keep bringing it back. This is him living in their village. And these youths come and shoot him, kill him there. And then he could also have said, okay, let me go to America and stay. And the same experience all of us who live abroad are going through will be happening. Strangulation. So now you wonder, where are we? Where can we possibly be ourselves? You cannot be yourself in your village, in your home, in your country. You also cannot be yourself in another man's country. But this migration is making all of us who have any bit of sense to run away. And then we run away, and then what happens? We're left with the dregs of society who call themselves politicians, who are then causing more mayhem in the country than you can well imagine. So migration is not helping us because we can't think anymore. So number 7, unemployment. And they hide under so many names. So you hear about things like area boys, you hear about things like gang boys. There's even another one. There's another name they've given them. So it's like, how do you handle this? Because when you do have a piece of landed property, this I experienced. We bought this piece of land, and you not say you want to build something, or you even want to put a little gate, or you want to plant a tree, whatever you want to do. These boys will all show up and then start asking you, have you paid us? Pay us for you and your land trying to do something in your piece of land. You pay them for what? We are the area boys. Is that a job? No. It's unemployment that's causing this problem. So of course, as the system hasn't created any infrastructure or any support system in the whole environment, and everybody is in this hurry to get rich quick, so they form themselves into some group, gang boys, area boys, and now terrorizing everybody, and you cannot be comfortable in your community. And if this is happening, do you see any growth coming? Do you see any development coming? Do you see prosperity coming? So this is a major problem. This is a problem. So I don't know how we're going to help ourselves, but we need to put on our thinking cap. And then number 8 is the law. You know how I was talking about the system, the police and the customs and the prison system. The law. You see, every system that grows with law. Laws have to be put in place, of which nobody is above the law. That's the system we have here in the UK. Even the Prime Minister gets into trouble. In America, the President gets into trouble for things they've done wrong. Not in Nigeria, the local government chairman can never be wrong. Local government. You've not talked about governor. How they're going to play around and make sure that everything is turned upside down, and then the judge cannot get into trouble, and then the president cannot. Nobody gets into trouble, and so everybody is law upon themselves. And so there's no legal system. So everybody just goes crazy. You know what they say? Anarchy. Anarchy is what rules. And that's why people can walk into your house and shoot you. Because they know there is no law. And they're not going to bear, what's going to happen. They actually walk around and they're proud that they've done something wrong. So society is just open. Open for anybody to mess around with it. So it's crazy. It's crazy, the system we have. And these are the things causing the problem in that country. So there are no laws. And then number 9 is lack of planning. So we're talking about a system that is organized and put together, and people know what they should be doing. That's not what's happening in Nigeria. The houses are just built anywhere. People just build it anyhow they like it. I'm sure they will have a system they call the planning department. It's everything, every system or every so-called department or government organization that you see in Nigeria is just a place to go and pay money. It's like a toll gate where you just have to go and give money to somebody. Oh yeah, here's my money. It's not because they're creating anything in the system. So you look around in the city, and there's no plan to the homes. Homes are just put anywhere. That's the system we have. Same thing with the roads. Roads are just thrown anywhere. I mean, there was a time we went to Nigeria once, and we went to this area, and I'm telling you, the homes were beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful homes built. But we couldn't access them. There were no roads to take us to the beautiful home. And then we're now going into potholes and in and out and in and out. And I'm thinking, who came through all of this to build this house? And that's the system for you. So you cannot create a decent environment without any planning. But that's the story we have. That's Nigeria for you. And then, of course, number 10 is this security problem. Security problem in Nigeria is huge. I mean, we talked about the area boys and all that. They are one thing. We have a bigger problem. We have, everybody knows about the Boko Haram. Then you hear about the Fulani headsmen, and of course the ones who go about kidnapping people just to get money off their families. And it kind of breaks your heart, because in as much as the system has been so messed up, and we know where the problem started from, politicians who have refused to treat the country with love and with care and with pride. You know, because if somebody is proud of where they come from, I know I live in England, and I know there's a lot of pride for being British. There's a lot of pride. Because right now, the country is struggling with the Brexit issue, where Britain is trying to leave Europe, and everyone's really, really touched. And it's affecting everyone's saying something about it because it bothers everyone. What's going to happen? Where are we going to go? What is the business going to be like? What is it? How do we, everyone's asking questions. Not Nigerian politicians do not care about the country. I mean, you cannot say you care about your country and you siphon $100 billion, 100 billion naira. You buy a home in Dubai, $500 million. Where is the love? If you have love, your love will be in your country. You will invest that money in your country. You look for projects that will benefit people, that will help people become something, projects that will employ people. And then when you're driving around in your country, you feel proud that this is my country. And when you visit anywhere, you say, I can't wait to go home, because this is where my leg stands properly. But no, we've all been thrown out in the open to go to different parts of the world. I was reading in some WhatsApp message, Canada is looking for immigrants. Better hurry and register, because you're going to go there with your family and you earn $3,000, blah, 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 blah. For how long are you going to live in Canada? Because the minute you get into Canada, that is not your home, whether you like it or not. Britain is not my home. Yes, I live here. It's not my home. Because they tell you everywhere you go, oh, when are you going to go back to your country? They remind you happily. If you like, which I know Nigerians, we do, whenever we go anywhere, we want to immediately learn the accent of the people. And you start making a mess of yourself. There's something they call culture. And you have a culture. You don't have to go and sell your soul to become somebody else. Yes, you may be in that country, but you don't assume the personality of that person. Because the minute you do that, they start laughing at you. Why? Because you don't belong anywhere. People without a culture they don't exist. So now you're lost in between. You don't have the Nigerian culture, you don't have the British culture. Where do you belong? So you need to know who you are. Know who you are. Wherever you're from, hold on to your own culture. This is what I try to teach my kids. Just because you were born in some place doesn't make you that place. There's some, where you live, the people you interact with, these are your people. These are the people that will teach. Culture is not taught in a classroom. Nobody teaches culture in a classroom. Culture is taught in a home. And it's slowly passed on to the younger ones, and they pass it on to their younger ones, and that's how it procreates over time. And that's what they call it, a culture of a people. So the way you eat, the way you talk to your elders, the way you dress, the way all of that make up your culture. But when you're busy stealing all the billions in your country and exporting it to another country, and then in your head, I'm going to send my children, which we all do in Nigeria. Oh, my children live in England, my children live in US, they live in Canada, and in your head, you've done such a great thing. You lie to yourself, because that can never be the home. No matter how much money you have, you do not buy a country with money. I mean, we're traveling to China, and we met this young university student in the plane who was Chinese and was coming from UK home. He said he's going home for the weekend. We're like, okay, that's a really long journey to take for a weekend. Oh, well, my parents asked me to come and he was going for an interview. I'm going for an interview for a job, because once I finish my training, I'm coming back home. That's how people behave, right? Chinese student in Britain going home for an interview, because once his course is over, he's going home. That will not happen in Nigeria. We want to export our children with body education and everything go. Because I have bought a house that costs 500 billion, your comfort is guaranteed, you can go there. But is his job guaranteed? No, it's not. And then these children end up becoming loafers. They don't even belong anywhere. And they can't think anymore with them. They can't think with their brains, because daddy has bought everything. So they I saw a program once, London to Lagos or something like that, and these children, oh, this is our birthday party. We spend it like it's a wedding, a birthday party. And so they're not thinking anymore. Thoughts have gone. And so you suddenly see yourself in a life where you really cannot contribute to it, because supposedly your dad has already finished the contribution. So we need to wake up. We need to wake up and fix our country so that our children will be like Chinese children. They finish a course, they go back home to fix the country. Bring that knowledge to you, take it from another place and bring it home. You know, when I started my tourism course, this was quite interesting. Years ago, centuries ago, when tourism was starting, British students were sent to France to go and learn the culture of French people, and they came back and taught their people about that culture. It was called the Renaissance period and the pilgrimage period. Things were happening. That's how this whole thing started. People went to other countries, learned their ways, and came and added to theirs, or picked up something that was great about that. You know, they call it copy. You copy and see something that's beneficial from this culture, you add it to this one. No, for us Nigerians, once we leave, that's it. We don't want to go back. Home is no longer useful. And I tell you, when I go home and I say, I want to come to the people are like, why do you want to come back home? Everybody's trying to leave. When we all leave, who's going to stay? And that's happily the type of scenario where the international community likes, Western world, because now there's nobody to query them why they're stealing all the things they're stealing. There's nobody to ask them, why are you here? And why do you think is your right to come and take all my oil? Or all my gold, or all my diamond? So we need to think. I'm going to leave it here, and thank you so much for watching. And as usual, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And please share with your friends. Share it. The more informed we are, the better we can raise it. You know how they say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. What you know, you know. You cannot, nobody can take it away from you. So please start educating your mind so we can all contribute to creating a better Nigeria for our future generations to come. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.